I think we're live.
James, we made it.
We're here.
Game of the Year 2020.
Took us video 6.
I think it's 7.
No, 6. 2000.
Well, we did 2 years for 2011, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Well,
we're here.
Yeah, we're fucking here. Simple as that.
So we're really excited. We're going to do this one live because we're in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
Which is very rare. No headsets, just a beautiful mic here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, please let us know in the chat. And I'm just going to upload these all to my different social medias and stuff. But Robbie wanted to talk real fast about 2019, which is what's up here right now. There was a certain game he really liked that wasn't on the list.
Yes. So one thing I forgot to mention in 2019 was a little game that a lot of people hated. It's called Death Stranding. Now, I particularly enjoy Death Stranding. The story is not great. It's relatively shitty and confusing, just like a typical Hideo game. But that's also why I enjoyed it. The thing about Death Stranding that stood out to me is that it's a very original game. It's unlike anything I've ever played. I've heard it referred to as a walking simulator or a fucking UPS simulator.
Is it really UPS simulator?
Well, because, I mean, like, you can actually drive trucks. Like, you can put cargo in trucks, on bikes, like, you know, what the fuck is Norman Reedus' character's name in that? I forgot.
Daryl.
Daryl, that's right. God damn you, that's Walking Dead. I can't. Sam, that's it. So, Sam is basically he's a delivery guy for this company called Bridges. And what they are is they're almost like the country's supplier of the U.S. And you're basically tasked with, as I'm sure anyone who hasn't played it, you're tasked with setting up what's called a chiral network, which is this big, expansive network, very similar to Elon Musk's Neuralink, in stores in 2 years. But yeah, you're basically setting up a chiral network while Sam is delivering different packages.
Did you just shout out someone?
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, that fucking piece of shit.
Did you read? He's now the richest person in recorded history, valued at 255 between 288 billion.
Nobody needs that much money.
Yeah. Neural network people, go get it. No, I'm kidding. I fucking hate Elon Musk. So yeah, Death Stranding. I don't want to speak too much on it here, but it's definitely something that's similar to me. It's definitely something that was original, and I did enjoy it despite how much hate it did get. Because yes, the story is not great, but I love Troy Baker, and he's the main guy in that. And while he's not the best villain, I think he does a decent performance. But it was really
Troy
the game.
Baker's not the main character.
He's the main villain.
Oh, the main villain.
Yeah. But what stood out to me the most is the gameplay, because I actually liked just the combat sequences with the BTs, being able to use your piss and shit as weapons, and your blood as well. And even fighting the humans was really cool, because basically there's lethal and non-lethal weapons in the game, and if you actually kill someone, what happens in the world of Death Stranding is when someone dies, they basically become like a fucking atom bomb, and they'll create like this entire crater.
Let's go back. So you can use your piss and shit for weapons?
I don't think you can use your shit, but you can use your piss. Yeah. I think you can use your shit, because whenever you shit too, you create hematic grenades. Those are the blood grenades. Anyways. So yeah, I really enjoyed Death Stranding. The reason I forgot about it is because it is not in the top 100 in 2019, because it was not critically, just look it up. See what it is. I think it's got to be in the 60s, maybe 70s at the most, but I really enjoyed Death Stranding personally. 82. Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't.
There's a lot of high-rated games. Last year was pretty good, right? This is the year of Sekiro, Resident Evil. Yeah,
this was a great year, but I just wanted to shout out Death Stranding. I still think Sekiro was the best game I played in 2019.
Sekiro.
It definitely has to be Sekiro, but I would say Death Stranding is a runner-up, because what it did for me, I really enjoyed. And I think I spent 12 hours playing the game one day.
You played a lot.
I started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't stop until 8 o'clock that night. I was so addicted to it. I just enjoyed the hell out of it because, I'm very much a completionist in games and just doing all these different deliveries, wanting to get like the best rating on each delivery. I really enjoyed what it was going for, as I've pretty much always been a Hideo fan. But anyways, I'll quit talking on it because I'm sure people are like, why the fuck is he talking about Death Stranding so much? But yeah, I did enjoy Death Stranding, but it still has to be Sekiro.
All right. So.
But we made it.
2020, the big one. Last year was kind of a weird year from what I remember. I don't think I played a lot of games, but the games I did play, I actually really enjoyed. So this video is going to be kind of a spoiler on one of them, but I'm gonna brush over it because my review's coming out in a few days. Yeah, so let's get into it. These games I remember, so I think I have my favorite game of the year already, but maybe I forgot one. So let's jump right into it.
1 second.
Are you sharing?
Share your post on Facebook, and now it is shared on my page. There we go.
We're sharing everywhere.
All right. We want everyone to see.
So, here we go. 2020, the year of COVID. And
the start of the beautiful virus of COVID-19.
Well, it was 19, right?
Well, it started in 19, but it didn't reach the States until really
Okay, here we go.
Nonetheless, Yep, that seems fitting.
What the
expected
fuck? Why does this keep happening where the games of like the fucking Ultimate Editions and Game of the Year Editions fucking on top of everything?
Persona 5 is a great fucking game.
No, it is great. And you know what? I've heard a lot of things, really good things about Royal. I've heard that
I've heard the extra story stuff is really good.
Yeah. Will I put another 110 hours? Don't think so
I put
right now.
105 into Persona 5.
But, okay, so neither of us played this Royal Edition, but we both
I
gave
do
a
want to
lot
check
of
it out on
props before.
PS5. When I get my PS5, I do want to check it out.
I would wait till Persona 5 PS5, a Royal Extraordinaire Edition comes out.
I'm definitely adding Last of Us. I'm definitely adding Hades. As you know, I did not... Why is the Switch version the highest version?
It's because it's handheld. A lot of people really like that feature.
Yeah, well, Hades is very much... It fits for a handheld game as well. I'm definitely adding Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
I loved Last of Us Part 2. And the people that hate on it are mostly fucking morons that haven't played it. So
be careful. I said that in my review and I got attacked by a bunch
I don't give
of
a shit. Like, the people that... I don't know if you remember, but like when that game was coming out and the stuff was leaked with Abby, like there was so much fucking transphobia that came out in the community, the game community. Yeah. It was disgusting and it was disturbing to me.
Yeah, it's still disturbing. There's still people out there.
Yeah, and then guess what? Abby's not even fucking trans. She's just a buff chick.
The character that is trans in the game is actually really well done too. So,
yeah, but that also got controversy because Lev is a kid. So they're like, a trans kid? What is this woke bullshit?
That's a whole nother video we can get into.
We could spend an hour on that.
I will say Last of Us, I think it's that game where I understand if there's criticism. I understand that people it's too bleak for them. Anything like that, I understand the structure of the story, things like that, totally understandable. But anytime I hear that word, woke, your opinion's automatically dismissed for me. It's just bullshit. But
it's a great fucking game with like it's definitely not as strong as Last of Us 1. No, but the writing is still spectacular.
Yeah, I still like the writing, but even if you don't like the writing, I think the gameplay
it's still a fun game. The gameplay is
fantastic.
Is amazing.
Yeah,
the amount of options that you have at your disposal when it comes to like combat encounters is terrific, and not just that, the brutality is incredible, just like Last of Us 1.
It's weird because it's a game that forces you to face uncomfortable scenarios like murdering people, and it's so realistic you actually feel it for once in a game. Like I felt bad killing some people in that game.
What was really cool, if you remember, like they added voice lines to each of the enemies, so like when you would kill one of them, they'd be like, Sarah! Like, Phil!
Or they'll say something like, you killed this person. Yeah. Or I thought was cool is like someone you killed in Ellie's campaign and Abby's campaign two days later, you would see them in the camp. And I was like, wow, that's detail.
That was awesome.
But yeah, Last of Us, really great game. Hades, so it did come out this year. I thought we talked about it already.
Well, no, we haven't talked about it, really.
That's weird. I felt like we did. But yeah, Hades, I'm just going to real quick. Tried it, not for me.
I am adding it, but as you know, I didn't start it until this year. Yeah,
That's true. Yes,
but I know it's not for you. I've enjoyed Hades. I haven't finished it. I actually kind of fell off of it a little bit, mainly because I think I put about 20, 25 hours into it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of reached. I definitely want to try to go back and finish it, but the story is very well done. I really like their take on Greek mythology, and I think the art design is incredible, and the music. The music's spectacular. And it's a fun game to play, but it's also a roguelite. So, it's a dungeon crawler. It definitely has a big difficulty curve to it when it comes to the combat.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it's going to be better than the game that I'm thinking about because I haven't even finished it, and I finished the other one. But I enjoyed Hades for what it was, and I know why so many people gave it Game of the Year, because it is very unique in that sense, and it's a very well-made game.
Yeah. Half-Life, I didn't get to play this. I heard it was pretty cool, though, the VR version. Probably, if I ever did play Half-Life again, it would be the VR version.
Or in the Wilderness. A lot of people thought that
still
was
haven't played any of these. I need to try
I downloaded it on Xbox. It's on Game Pass, as well as the first one.
Huh. I gotta try that.
Hades on PC.
Hades.
Demon Souls, PS5. You played that, I haven't.
I have not played Demon Souls.
I thought you did.
Nope. Someone's commenting.
Oh, we got our first comment.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Remember your OG back in the Saints Row 2 days? What you think about the latest reboot? Potential review, near release, maybe.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'll get more into it after we go through our list of the top 20. But just real quick, Saints Row, I'm a huge fan of 1 and 2. I like 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wanting to try the new one, but I'm kind of worried it's too much like 4. But I'll give it a chance. Yeah. But I love Saints Row 2. I still think, man, if we got I would even take a remastered, but I would love a remake of 1 and 2.
I actually really enjoyed Saints Row 1.
Yeah.
I thought Saints Row 1 and 2 were excellent games. Yeah. I did not really like 3 and 4 at all.
I like 3 and 4, but they were so zany.
I did not like 4 at all. I liked 3.
It went too far.
Once they started doing with the time travel bullshit, I'm like, this is dumb.
Though there was that fucking part when you're going up in the sky and it's singing.
Oh, Kanye West. Yeah,
no, not that one. And 4 when you're on the rocket and it's singing.
Oh, yeah.
The song.
Star Spangled Banner.
No, the one from Whenever I Close My Eyes from Armageddon. Aerosmith.
Oh, yeah.
That was such a great thing. Okay, anyway. Demon Souls, I did not get to play. I do want to play it, but I ain't paying fucking $70. I'm not paying $50. I'll pay maybe $20.
It is one of the first games I want to get when I get my PS5, because I've heard Blue Point did an excellent job with it, and I do want to see it.
Another one of Dragon. Why is this so high?
There it is, my game of the year, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yes. Now, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I tried it, as you know.
Fantacaro. Factorio.
Fantacaro?
Factorio. Did I say it right?
I'm seeing this and I can read it, and you're seeing the bigger screen.
I'm
and you
saying
said Fantactaro.
Factorio. Is that how you
I
say
think it's Factorio.
Factorio!
Well, real quick about Flight Simulator. I did play it on Game Pass when it came out. It's a very interesting game. It's beautiful. Like in terms of just overall fidelity, it's incredible.
Is it?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Not when you get down on the streets and you actually see the houses and you see that all of them are actually fucking like 2D sprites almost, and probably 16 bits.
But when you're in the sky.
Yeah, when you're in the sky, like, it's amazing.
Ooh,
hey,
Chris! Ooh, yeah!
But yeah, it is. It is really cool, but it's also really complicated to play because it is a simulator.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. I understand why a lot of people love it. I actually tried flying to my house and I couldn't find my house, but whatever.
Alright. What about Factorio?
I have not played Factorio. Or Crusader Kings.
Fuck you.
Have you played Spelunky?
You know what?
Spelunka?
Are you making fun of it? That says Crusader Kings 3.
That's Crusader Kings of 3.
You're an asshole. I actually did want to play
These
that.
These are all PC games. I haven't played them.
You F1 at 20.
The fuck?
That's the what?
He said the fuck.
Oh yeah.
The fuck what?
The fuck. You know what it is, Chris. Remember this channel?
Yeah.
That's the Whitey Show. I'm still here. Just a lot older. My back hurts all the time.
Fortunately, Ghosty's dead.
Ghosty died. He died in the move. The third move, he got crushed by a car.
Yeah, as it goes.
Animal Crossing, one of the worst games ever. Just kidding. I don't like Animal Crossing.
As you know, I played New Horizons. I did.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah.
I probably put a good 20 hours into it.
Damn, you always give like so much time to games. Like I play Hades for like an hour. I'm like, it's not for me. You're like, you know, I give a good 20, and then I say no.
Well, it took me probably a good 3-4 hours with Persona 5, as you remember. If I was like, is this really? You're like, yeah, stick with it, and I did, and I ended up.
Yeah, but you knew that my intelligence and my brain would tell you it's a good game, so you stuck with it.
What intelligence?
Okay.
New Horizons, though, it's a cool Animal Crossing. I've heard a lot of like Animal Crossing fanatics, though, and lifelong fans have issues with it.
Yeah.
It's Animal Crossing, so it is what it is. But I've never been the biggest fan of it. But for what it seemed like it was cool, it seemed interesting. But there you go.
Fuck Animal Crossing. Someone said something. I just started watching these discussion a few days ago. It's pretty nice. On a side note, it's a bit surprising to know Rob is around the same age as me. Oh. That's right. He's a young, sprice, sexy man wanting to fuck.
He's an old shit at 32.
You know what?
I'm
fuck
a young
you.
Shit at 28.
I'm not that old, and my back just hurts all the time. So Yakuza 0 this is the first time it came on Xbox.
Yeah.
Pretty fun game. Not my favorite like everybody else. However, we got Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now, let me tell you about this game. This is a fantastic fucking RPG. I'll tell you right now, RPGs in general have just stepped up their game this generation, or the end of and the beginning of this new one. Yakuza Like a Dragon. One thing I gotta say, if you can, play this on PS5 or Xbox Series X. Do not play it on the old consoles. I did. And I was like, But the new consoles run 60 frames per second. So 4K. Smooth. 4K. Everything is really fun about this game. You don't have to play any of the other Yakuzas to get it. It's the new characters, and it's like kind of mixing traditional RPG style, but you're playing as a bunch of bums, and you have to like kind of fix the city and save people. And it's such a cool perspective because they're not shown as like dirty, disgusting bums who do nothing. They're living this life where they're homeless, and it's kind of sad. At the same time, I think it has really funny moments and a lot of heart. And the RPG system, surprisingly really fun and pretty hard. This is one of the only Yakuzas I beat because they're all fucking like 800 hours. But this one, excellent. One of my favorite games of last year. It's definitely on my list with Last of Us. But this is number 1.
Oh,
we don't know.
And we have a surprise at the end.
Another great game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do need to start Like a Dragon. I've heard great things.
Yes.
Like a lot of people I've spoken to.
And it's on Gamer Pass.
It's one of the best RPGs to come out in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm not even joking. Yeah. I really loved it.
And I've heard it's funny as fuck.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles is a really great remaster. I really enjoyed it. Again, didn't beat it because it's so long, but what I did play, I enjoyed it.
There is no game. I've heard that's interesting.
These fucking indie games.
It's like a meta game where you're.
There is no game, so don't go messing. You're basically playing a
game. You're inside a game of a game that developers are designing, and they actually have some FMV stuff that I heard is really bad but great.
I don't care.
It sounds interesting. Dreams. I heard Dreams was interesting.
Dreams was
a lot of people have been making.
Journey?
It's by the creators of Little Big Planet, which I know you love. Media Molecule.
Obviously the best games ever created.
Dude, have you seen some of the shit that's been created in that? Look up like Dreams montage of like. There's been some incredible stuff. I'm not even kidding. Like some really incredible.
Let's talk about a game that you really enjoyed.
I did. Yeah,
you really like this game.
I really love the Pro Skater remakes for 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I actually got it on Series X about 7 months ago or so. I didn't get to 2. But I really enjoyed what I played of 1. I did not finish it. I'm actually going to add it to my list. It's fantastic, and it's easily the best version of Pro Skater 1.
Would you say that you're a skater boy?
He said, "See you later, boy."
Oh, look. Chris,
yeah, no,
look. He said Hades is his number 1. Damn.
Yeah, I remember it.
I think a lot of people.
The podcast,
would probably put that as their number 1.
Well, Hades it's such a it's just I think the good thing about Hades, well, yeah, it's fast paced, but also it's just very well made. Like
it is
top down. It's a fantastic game. Like the music, the art design, the fidelity, and just the combat too is incredibly satisfying.
Fidelity. I'm gonna start using that word.
Fidelity. Yeah, I've used that a lot over this year. Yeah, there you go.
What is
that? Ian?
Yep.
Hey,
Dreams
Ian,
is crazy, but I think you put that much effort into making something you should do it on a system that lets you sell it. Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so Devil May Cry 5, I already covered that. This is a special edition. Did not play it on PS5, but I've heard it really runs even smoother, which is PS4 version ran really nice. But yeah, I love Devil May Cry 5.
So I've added 3 so far. I'm adding Tetris Effect. I love
oh
Tetris
my god,
Effect.
I remember when this came out and you were just like, I love this game. And I'm like, it's fucking Tetris. And you're like, no!
You haven't played it.
I did.
You played Tetris Effect?
Yeah.
Did you play that first level? Did you hear that amazing song? Yeah. Did it make you want to cry and cum your pants?
No, it didn't make me do that.
It made me do that.
It is fun, but it's Tetris. And I've never been...
It is, yeah. Like, to be completely fair, it is Tetris. But I think the effects of it, like the actual effects of the game,
they did look good.
They're incredible, and not just that soundtrack is fucking awesome, and that's the biggest reason I played it. I played it when I wanted to relax, but then it also got to a point where when you were getting towards the end of a fucking level, I'm not even kidding you, I got stuck on a level on normal towards the end of the campaign. I probably lost easily 50, 60 times.
Jesus Christ, fuck that.
Yeah, but as a Tetris game, it is great, and I've heard the co-op looks really interesting.
Well, then we got to play co-op.
Yeah, but it's mainly the soundtrack and just the art design.
The art design was pretty cool, I'll say that.
And the soundtrack.
The soundtrack, sorry.
It was amazing.
Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Doom Eternal.
I still haven't played this game. I think this is on Gamer Pass, right? That's Eternal.
Doom Eternal?
Yeah.
They have both now.
Yeah, and I keep telling myself, just play it. I didn't love 2016's, but I liked it.
It was okay.
Yeah,
I'm just not a big Doom fan. But, yeah. I mean, for what it was going for, it seemed interesting.
One thing I like about Doom is literally you can just jump in, play for like 20 minutes, and then jump out, and you don't feel like you've lost any progression or anything like that. It is very quick to get into.
Yeah, and it's very fast-paced. It's probably the most fast-paced shooter of all time, I would imagine.
Hey, what the fuck?
I didn't know Halo 3 was added to the Master Chief Collection on PC.
That's
interesting. Did it not come out on PC?
You know what? Maybe they like remastered on PC on like fucking Xbox. They just left it.
Yeah, because it's not remastered on Xbox. It
looks
as compared to 2.
Yeah, 2 looked really good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. I got that earlier this year on Series X.
Doom Eternal's my number 3. Really? I gotta play it. I'm gonna play that shit.
Tetrisgasm.
Mortal Kombat.
I like hell, apparently.
Kentucky Route Zero. You know what? I heard about this game.
Kentucky Route Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've told you. Like, I've heard terrific things about it.
TV edition?
It just finished last year. Like, it was a series.
Oh, so the TV's like all of
them. Yeah. I've heard it's terrific. I've heard the story is terrific, and the music and the art design.
I gotta try it.
But, I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, me either. Maybe I'll just buy it and just waste my money.
There you go. 36.
So Final Fantasy VII Remake is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I was a little apprehensive, and funny enough, when they showed the first trailer, I posted on Facebook that day. I said, well, it's a cool trailer. Too bad we won't get it in 6 years. And guess what? We got it 6 years later. It literally took from 2014, the first trailer shown, all the way to 2020 to get this game. It is not half a game. It is not... Oh, yeah. And that's the great thing about it. You can kind of just play it by yourself or by itself. You don't have to play the old games. But if you play the old games, you're still surprised at some of the things they did. The ending is crazy for old fans. I was, really enjoying what they did with this ending and how it's basically, have you seen the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how everything's starting to shift and shit? Mm-hmm. That's basically Final Fantasy VII's ending. So you see meta streams of all the possible scenarios, and now we're in this new one where we're just what's gonna happen? And I fucking love that.
Was one of them the original Final Fantasy VII 8-bit?
Yeah, and you see
weird
people who've died in the old game maybe it'll happen. So all that shit was great, and it makes me really excited for the next one.
Well, wasn't this wasn't the full game of Final Fantasy VII, right? This was just like the first half of it.
What's up? How I say his name?
Tyron Rooks.
Tyron. Okay, good. I didn't want to mispronounce your name and say Tyriana. So I'm really bad.
Am I right though? Like the remake is just like the first half of the game, right?
So it is and it's not. So it's the first part of the first game. Or the original, but
the whole game is one half.
But it's much bigger than that original half. That original half you could finish in like 4 hours, really, if you just speed run it.
But just story based, it's
yeah. But they add so much more depth to Cloud and Tifa, and
combat is great.
Especially
combat is great.
Aerith. I always say her name wrong.
I think it's Aerith.
Yeah. And the combat's so good. Like, this is the combat of evolution for RPGs that I want. I think it was just
it's
good.
The combat that I always wanted with Cloud as a kid.
Yeah. It looks good. It feels good. It's pretty challenging at times. Yeah, I love Final Fantasy. I'll get more into it later.
The unknown journey will continue.
Yeah, basically Final Fantasy VII Origins. I don't want to say it's a sequel. I feel like it's more of a what if type game.
It's like a reboot.
Yeah, and exactly what Chris just said. It literally ends with that. The unknown journey will continue, making it be like, wow, even the old fans are like, what? Who's going to die? And who's not? I love that. So anyway.
See, I really want to go back to it when I get my PS5, because I don't think it's going to come to Xbox for a long time, if it ever does.
If it ever. I don't think it will. I think Sony's paying good money to keep that, because that's a huge game for them.
But yeah, I do want to go back to it when I get my PS5. I heard the update on it. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I think it runs in 4K 60.
I mean, it looks great on my PS4. I was like stunned how
yeah, even on my base PS4 it looked great. But I do want to eventually go back to it and play more of it, because I kind of fell off. But
yeah, I played the shit. I played like 38 hours of that game. I loved it. 105 Remake was so good, almost surprisingly good. I agree. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. I was really, really happy with it.
No, they gave it true justice, from my understanding.
Yep.
Because I never played the original.
Oh, that's PC. We already talked about that. PC. Oh, wow. This is when Persona 4
What is that above it? Iceborne? Hunt down.
Hunt down. Challenge yourself in a hard-boiled co-op arcade shooter. Run, jump, and take cover. Fuck that. So Persona 4 Golden just came out on the PC last year. That's nuts. That game is like 12 years old. There's Splunky again. There you go, Death Stranding.
There it is.
It made its appearance.
It has a higher rating on PC apparently than PS4.
It probably looks better.
Well, apparently 2 mods too. It's pretty fun with mods from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Desperado 3. I can never get into the series. I tried the first one.
All right, I want to ask them, because I don't think they were here for my Death Stranding thing. Has anyone here played Death Stranding and actually genuinely enjoyed it? Or if you hated it, tell me. I'm just interested, because I don't know if you guys were here in the beginning. I actually was stating how I enjoyed Death Stranding, because I didn't mention 2019 because it was so fucking far down the list at 82. But yeah, if anyone here has played it, please let me know.
I have not
played it.
If
you enjoyed it. You have not played it.
One day I will.
You'll probably hate it.
Yeah, I probably would. I still need to finish 7R. I unfortunately took a break since I'm catching up on 2021 games. Understandable. I think we're all in that right now.
Sephiroth in the remake is aware that he lost in the original. Really? Is he?
That is interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, yes, you're right. At the end, he did act like he knew this scenario he would lose, so he changes the game. That was pretty cool.
Is Sephiroth Mark Zuckerberg?
I don't know. Okay, so Monster Train. All right. It's just, it gets to me. It gets to me that there's so many fucking indie games, and it really annoys me a little bit, because I understand there's a whole thing for indie, and I'm very happy, but look how many indie games there are. Nobody can possibly play all these fucking games. I mean,
I think the biggest thing is if you have a PC and you have Steam, like, it's so easy, because some of those games drop down to fucking $3, $4, $5. I mean,
but where do you get the time?
But I think it's good, because what the potential for this is, if an indie company can make a really fantastic little indie title, if that game becomes successful and it takes off, like Supergiant was already pretty well known, but before Hades, but that can eventually progress into them partnering
Look
with
at
their
this.
company and making better games.
But look, it's Monster Train, Cuphead, Huntdown, and Cyberpunk. All indie games, and they all...
Holy shit, I completely forgot about Cyberpunk. We should definitely talk about that.
Should we?
Yes, absolutely.
You got some comments about Death Stranding.
Mark Sefferberg. Oh, Ian liked it? Yeah. I agree.
And Chris
it's
liked
definitely
it too.
a weird experience. Did Chris like it?
Yeah, he got 10 hours in. He wants to go back.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
No, that's good to hear from both of you because
I think a lot of people liked it. I think not a lot of Metal Gear fans liked it because it's just a great departure.
no. Well, I've also heard some people that just straight up fucking hated it.
Yeah, and I can see that.
Dumb as shit.
You know, he took a chance with that game. He
absolutely
had
did.
a vision, and if it worked and you enjoyed the gameplay, it's a hit. If you didn't, well, then you probably fucking hate the game.
Yeah. The one thing I have to give Death Stranding is that it's one of the most unique games I've ever played.
I'll give it that too. I've never seen a game.
It's incredibly unique and different.
All right, let's talk about. I'm not gonna bash on Cyberpunk endlessly because, you know, that company obviously.
You say what you want first, and I will tell you exactly what I have said about it.
Cyberpunk is. This is the problem with Cyberpunk. It's okay. That's the problem I have with it. Is it though? It is. It's okay. Like, I played it, and I wasn't like. Maybe because I played some really terrible games like fucking Rogue. Remember that game?
Rogue.
Remember the fucking guy, the wrestler. He was the main character.
Oh! Chris's favorite game, Rogue Warrior.
Rogue Warrior. Chris knows what I'm talking about. He loved that game.
Time to get these motherfucking cocksucking pieces of shit.
But when I...
What the fuck came out of your mouth? What was that sound? It was so scary. Jesus God, man.
It was my beautiful singing voice.
It was apparently breaking.
Oh, man. Okay, so Cyberpunk, I'm just going to say, it was okay. Like, I played it the whole time, and I'm thinking... You turn on the fan.
Turn on the fan.
I was just thinking, yeah, it plays fine. It looks fine. It has fine voice acting. Oh, you shut off the light.
Yeah, no, it's on. There we go.
Oh, thank God you didn't shut off the other one because I would shut off this whole stream.
Oh, that was
But yeah, it was just fine. And, you know, it's like a game where I will remember for more of the controversy around it than itself. But
Rogue Warrior or Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk. I remember Rogue Warrior. The only thing I remember about Rogue Warrior is how fucking awful it was. And that's it. See? Chris is like...
fantastic.
Look at him. He's like, hell yeah, Rogue Warrior! Rogue Warrior! But yeah, Cyberpunk is okay. You can go on your tangent. I don't think you hate it. I think you just was really bored.
I didn't hate it. So my opinion of Cyberpunk very much falls in line with my internet father, Jeff Gersman. My issues with Cyberpunk go
Gersman?
way deeper than it's just it performs like shit. Because it absolutely, like, I played on... It was actually one of the first games I played on my Series X, like the 4th or 5th game, because it came out in December.
That's why Cyberpunk is high on PC, but
exactly.
not even on...
Because I heard on PC it ran relatively fine.
Yeah.
It still had issues, but, like, I was seeing screenshots of the PC version as compared to, like, the Xbox One and the fucking PS4 version.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And it was terrible. But it also makes sense because CG Projekt Red, I mean...
It's a PC developer.
They're a PC developer, so all of their games are played on PC and then ported to consoles.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, my issues with Cyberpunk stem a lot deeper than the performance issues as well as the story.
Yeah, the story's pretty awesome.
Story, that writing is not great. Like, that writing is nowhere near the quality of The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Not even close. Yes, having Keanu Reeves is awesome. That's my Jesus.
Yeah, he was fun in it. I liked his character.
Yeah, like Johnny Silverhand's like a cool character. Like, he's really cool.
Chris goes, I remember Rogue Warrior more than Cyberpunk.
I think I do too, to be honest with you. Rogue Warrior you could also beat in like 4 hours too. But yeah, Cyberpunk, maybe I'll go back to it one day if it's like $20. But, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of controversy around it. It was delayed, like 4 or 5 times throughout 2020?
Yeah. See, I remember the controversy around Cyberpunk, the delays, the bugs. I remember all that more than the game itself.
The fucking customization, being able to see your dick. Like,
yeah.
Like, do you want to be a man and have a pussy or a woman and have a dick? Like,
I thought that was cool. Like, the ability to do that. But the fact that it didn't add anything to the game is my problem.
Yeah, see, Ian's had said the best. It was a standard RPG, nothing more. I was expecting it to allow you to do so much. I played on PC without many tech issues, but even working fine, it was just nothing special. I
Yeah.
completely agree with
Yeah,
that.
it was very. That's what I'm saying. It's just standard.
It just felt bland.
Yeah.
Like, the powers weren't anything I was like, wow, this is incredible. These weapons aren't, like, packing a huge punch to me.
There had some cool, like, ideas with weapons. I did like some of it, but overall, it was just standard.
It felt very similar to, like, Fallout, but it didn't have the same quality as Fallout.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is crazy to think Bethesda.
Yeah. Rogue Warrior has Mickey Rourke rap at the end, so it's already better. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're saying Cyberpunk would be on your list for top 5 of the year?
Absolutely.
Rick of Rain, another fucking... Right.
Rick and Rain.
Oh, fuck. I forgot that game came out this year. Two games I really enjoyed.
This is when the new consoles came out.
The PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
Funny enough, you actually were able to help me secure my Series X.
I did. I got him the Series X and me on the same day. It was pretty fucking cool.
Well, I was worried because you got yours, and like I had a supreme amount of anxiety trying to get it because I was trying to do it while I was at school.
Yeah, that was cool. And then I got the PS5, but not right away, like 4 or 5 months later. So I really want to talk about 13 Sentinels. What a fucking surprisingly good game.
I've heard this was great. I heard the story's fantastic.
The story's so good. The storytelling is so unique. I haven't seen a game really do this where they jump so much, but it somehow oddly is connecting, but you're so lost of how it's connecting until about the end of the game. And then I really enjoyed the gameplay itself. Like, people said they weren't fans of like the RTS, like what do you call that? Battle defense, tower defense style. I loved it. I was into defending the shit out of cities. 13 Sentinels. If you haven't played it, please pick it up. If you see it on sale, grab it right away. It is one of the most unique and fun games of the entire last generation for me, and I'm going to do a review on it. That's one game I keep wanting to do because not enough people have played it, and I really want to tell people how much I love that game.
I've heard it's really cool. Just being able to like customize all the Sentinels and like, all the robots or whatever.
Yeah.
I do want to check it out. But
I think you would like it. I don't know if you'll love it as much as me, but I think you will love it.
I like tower defense. I just haven't played a lot of them.
And the tower defense,
not into Dota.
The best part about it, too, is that you can just put it on easy. Like, you don't lose trophies or anything if you don't like the gameplay, because the story's the focus. What do we have here? Enjoyed Death Stranding's gameplay and story concept, but it felt as though the writing could have been done with like an extra editor sometimes.
I think that's every single Hideo.
That's what I was going to say. That motherfucker needs an editor or 2 or 3 to be like, yo, do we have to put this fucking weird-ass big booby titty bitch with no clothes?
I remember Metal Gear Solid 4 had 90 minutes of cutscenes after you finished
God, or that was 90 minutes fucking cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4 after you do like this epic shit where you're just in a conference room talking for like 27 minutes, and I'm just like, why?
So I think Death Stranding, it was probably a good 80 minutes or so after I'd beaten the last boss before the game actually ended.
I'm not playing this game. Even janky Fallout 4 was more immersive than Cyberpunk.
I didn't even finish. I didn't even play enough of Fallout 4.
Chris, where's Godfall? Godfall is where it deserves to be. In the fucking dumpster. That's right. My New York accent came out. Angus Rim, let's go.
So good. I got that.
Quite possibly want to be. Yes, I agree. Oh man, Ian, you gotta try it. It's a game that you would like. It's really, really good. Shit is so good.
Ian's into anime shit like you. So.
Yeah.
And I'm somewhat into anime shit.
Yeah, this is super anime. That J-pop song in the credit one battle. The music was great. I'm happy you're all back. This is actually the first notification I've got from you guys in years. Oh, well, welcome back. This is 2020. We've done videos all the way since 2000. And we did year videos, like in segments of 5 and then later 2 or 3. So check those out. But, stick around here. This is our last one for this series, though we have 2021.
Well, then we're going to do 2021 after Halo comes out.
Yeah, see if Halo gets there. Okay, so let's also talk about Spider-Man.
Game of the year fall.
I loved Spider-Man.
I just started playing it last night in here because I've not owned a PS5, but you do.
What do you think?
I think it's fantastic. Yeah. I think it plays better than the original.
I agree.
I think the combat's a lot more fun.
Yeah,
I think it runs spectacular. Yeah, like Miles is definitely weaker. He's weaker as far as his health, but I love it. Like I can't wait to get my PS5 and pick it up because I definitely want to see that story through. I heard the story's great.
The story's so good. The ending is.
Well, I've heard it's better than the original. Would you agree?
It's weird. Like, I think the original hit me more in the beginning and the end. Because I love Peter as that age, like in that adult, young adult.
22.
Yeah, he's actually 24 in the game, which is really cool that he's that much older. But yeah, I really, really love Miles, and it did almost make me cry. So Miles is definitely one of those games. I can't say enough to get on the PS5. If you get a PS5, I think that should be your very first game because it showcases the PS5's power so good.
Chris liked it more than the original.
I'm happy about.
Why is he saying Halo's garbage? What is this?
How dare you say Halo's garbage? Now, I understand. So
Is he trolling?
he might just not like it. Halo, I feel like, is still its own unique FPS. There's nothing out that's
when
like
did we
Halo.
mention Halo? Is he just randomly saying
Oh, you
Halo's
said no because you said 2021. We want to wait till Halo's out.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So I think Halo's still. You know what it is? I feel like a lot of the younger generation does not like Halo. And that's okay.
They have no reverence for it.
Yeah, there's no reverence. It's a different style game, and Halo kind of sticks to its roots. It adds stuff, but it sticks to its roots.
Infinite's made some changes though. It definitely has. I played the flight tests and.
But it's not Fortnite. It's not.
It's not Fortnite. It's not Call of Duty.
Yeah,
so it is still Halo.
Yeah.
It's made more. It's definitely made more changes to make it more modern. But it's still Halo.
Yeah. So I can understand why some people don't like it. Just like I can't even stand to look at Fortnite. I think Call of Duty is like one of the worst shooters ever created. Like literally, I think the online of Call of Duty is, and Battlefield is like the top 5 worst shooters I've ever. I'm not joking. I think it's horrible. I really do. I can't see why people play it. Like I don't want to play a shooter where I die in one shot. That's fucking stupid. Okay. Anyway, let's get.
Even though you love Rainbow Six Siege, which is hilarious.
Well, Rainbow Six Siege. No. Rainbow Six Siege.
But those are round based, yeah. So.
And it's squad based. Like you have to really work with your team. Call of Duty, you could just go out with your dick hanging out and you just one man army that shit. I've seen people do it. It's fucking stupid. Fuck that game.
Dick hanging out, dick spraying everywhere.
Nasty.
So mark your territory.
Planet Coaster, another fucking stupid game.
Neo 2. Wait, did we miss it?
Neo 2 came out first time last year.
What? It came out last year?
Right?
It came out 2019. Well, I know the first one came out in like 2017.
No, it did come out last year because remember, it was after Sekiro. Sekiro came out 2019, then the next year. I've never played them. One day I'm going to play them.
Above it? Well, so you don't miss anything.
Fucking Warframe and Planet Coaster and fucking Huntdown again.
Bayonetta Vanquish collection.
Love these games. If you haven't played these games, now is the time to play them.
They're on sale all the time.
Yeah, for like $20 for both. They're excellent games.
Yeah. Vanquish is great.
Pikmin 3.
I like Bayonetta 1.
I didn't really like Pikmin 3 that much. I thought it tried too much.
Battlefield Bad Company 2 is one of the best MP games ever. I agree, Chris.
Let me tell you about Battlefield fucking Bad Company 2. Battlefield's a piece of fucking horse shit.
Bad Company 2 is a great game.
I don't know. I don't like 2. Battlefield. Battlefield went in the direction the opposite of what I like in shooters.
I didn't like the beta of this new one. I thought it's just not for me.
You know what Battlefield does?
It's too large scale.
That's it. Battlefield went the opposite direction. I give it credit where Call of Duty was smaller, Halo's smaller, and Battlefield's like 180 people. Come on, and I'm just like
120.
120. Do I want to play with that many people? I don't even like that many people in life. You know,
exactly.
Thanos. So yeah.
Yes. Thanos.
Football Manager. What would you say about that?
Oh, I was reading Ian's comments. I liked Halo, but there's also the Bungie versus 343. Bungie's making Destiny. Yeah, I mean, Reach was Bungie's swan song to Halo.
Yeah, that was a good.
And I think that is the best Halo. 343 was taken over because they are now under the wing of Microsoft, and that's the thing. Bungie never wanted to go under the wing of Microsoft. They wanted to branch out and start making other games because they wanted to make Destiny for years. Like I heard they had wanted to make Destiny since Halo 2 came out.
Fucking Destiny sucks dick.
It really doesn't.
It really does.
It really doesn't.
The first one.
The first one doesn't suck dick. The first one's okay, but Destiny 2 is actually really solid in terms of how it's all.
I didn't get that far.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't care enough about Destiny to play another one of those fucking games.
Fair enough. You need to play Overwatch and not Valorant. So no, thank you.
What?
Okay. I'm not an Overwatch fan. I haven't played Valorant. I've heard things about it, but I'm not an Overwatch fan personally.
I didn't like Overwatch. Overwatch is a good example that it's just not for me. I think it's a well-crafted game. I think it's competitive in the right ways. But I tried it, and I'm like, competitive shooters aren't really my thing anyway nowadays.
Well, Overwatch 2 is it's a tower defense. It's like Dota. It's a first-person Dota game.
No, I think you're getting confused. Tower defense isn't. Tower defense is like you have a tower and you put like structures around it to protect it.
Tower defense can also be like you are defending bases. Yeah,
MOBA.
Yeah, those can be seen as somewhat tower defense because you are protecting your base as well.
But tower defense is literally just like building.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But I'm saying those can be seen as tower
I
defense.
want more tower defense
genre,
games.
Yeah.
I love tower defense. So surprisingly, Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, that's pretty high.
The 11th best Assassin's Creed.
So you saw my review, or if you see my ranking of Assassin's Creed games, you would know that Valhalla is very high on my list.
Yours is number 2 and mine is number 11.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
You know what, Valhalla, it was a great game to play on Xbox. It was my first Xbox Series X game, and man, showcased the power of that system. It's so big, and it ran so fast. The maps loaded like, 4 seconds? It was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
It was my first Series X game I experienced as well. It did look nice. It did run nice. And yeah, it's fun for about 15-20 hours.
All right, we're not getting into this again. Thronebreaker. The Witcher's Tale. That's the card game, right?
Yeah, Thronebreaker. Yeah. That was the Gwent game. No, wait. This isn't the Gwent game they released. This is yeah. It's like a puzzle.
Oh, the puzzle card.
It's
game.
almost It's almost like a puzzle, like
84%.
Gwent kind of.
It's fucking high.
Yeah. I think I might have played it.
If found. That sounds interesting.
If found, return to Dick.
What if they don't like Dick?
Return to pussy.
What the golf? What the fuck?
Yeah, I feel that's interesting.
Assassin's Creed. So funny enough, Yakuza, Like a Dragon came out on. You know why it's so much lower rated on PS4?
Because it ran like dog shit.
They released the PS5, but it wasn't the PS5 version. You had to wait 2 months before they updated it. How fucked up was that? That's fucked up.
Ridiculous. I'm not seeing 2 games on here that are going to be on my list, and we haven't even made it to 100 yet.
It might be here.
It's not going to be here.
There it is.
It is.
I told you. A lot of people love this game. The other one, I can't think of the other one.
Ghost.
Well, that's the game I was talking about before, where I hope it was on this list because I don't want to spoil my review later. But
spoiled.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil 3.
Wow, it's 95.
Resident Evil 3 is pretty fun.
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact, another really fun game. Very surprising.
I didn't play enough of it.
It's really fun.
It is fun.
I played like 20 hours, like you. I played about 20 hours. And I really enjoyed it. And then... Nope, there it is.
Wow, just making it.
I slide in there like a little motherfucker. Oh, the game you told me to play this morning.
I just played.
All right, so 100. We're at the 100. So if you haven't watched any of our videos before, we stop at 100 because there's obviously 11 pages of this shit.
There's too many.
So let's scroll back up. We got a lot of games to choose from. I already know my game of the year, so I'm going to let you go first.
You always go first, so you go first.
God damn it.
We have to keep tradition here.
All right, so Last of Us 2.
Don't you dare mock me.
I'll mock you. Last of Us 2. Great game. Super bleak. Graphics probably the best. Bleak. It's, you're like, fucking everything is sad.
Oh, yeah. I think even bleak, almost boring.
No. Like, just, it's dreadful. Like, not in a bad way. Like, you always feel it. And then,
it's a fucked up world.
But the graphics are stunning. The gameplay is super fun. Better than 1 by a mile.
Story's really good.
And the story's really good. Story, my main issue with it is the way it was structured and the pacing is my issue with that one. But yeah, I really enjoyed Last of Us 2. As far as, let me see, I should have wrote these down. There was one other game. Oh, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Really love this game. I think it's very much worth playing, and I think if you are going to play it, please play it on Series X or PS5. It runs so much smoother. And last shout out before my game of the year, Sentinel 13. So good. So good. The Underdog, the game that looks like a fucking PS3 game, but it's so well crafted, and the sprite work is hand drawn, so it looks fucking great against the background. It looks like a painting.
Excuse me, sir. It is a 13 Sentinels. So you just
fucking 13 Sentinels. All right, whatever. 13 Sentinels. But my game of the year is Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII did everything right for me. It came in, it gave a similar story of the original, but also said, no, we're going to brush it up, we're going to make it more interesting, we're going to change things. Let's give you a fucking fantastic combat system, stunning graphics, really good voice acting, which was really surprising, and much needed updating to the dialogue. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Final Fantasy VII.
That's fair.
Remake.
My list is Last of Us Part 2, Hades, Tony Hawk, Tetris Effect. Huh? Spiritfarer and Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
I really enjoyed all of these games. I think every single one of these like really stood out to me. I actually didn't play Tony Hawk until this year, of course, and Hades as well. But Tetris Effect, Spiritfarer.
Yeah, you played it in the beginning of the year.
I might have played it in January. I need to check my achievements.
Yeah,
but
because that's when you told me about it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but I know Ghost of Tsushima, Tetris, and Last of Us I played last year. Tetris Effect is incredible. I think it's probably the best Tetris game I've ever played, just for its design and music alone. And I really enjoyed Tony Hawk. It just looks incredible too. It runs in 4K.
Yeah, I did 60. See the graphics. It did look really good.
It looked, and the music and the soundtrack's awesome. You'd like the soundtrack. It's fucking awesome. It's a combination of like old school rap, but also some current. It blends well, and then it's also some punk and some rock, current and old. Hades I enjoyed as well, but again I haven't finished it. But I did enjoy what I played of it, 25 hours or so. I think the writing is really strong. I think the writing for Hades is terrific. And I really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, and I will go back to it on PS5 because I did not finish it. I fell off because, to be honest, I did get kind of bored. I didn't have much interest in the story because I'd played so many side missions. But I do want to go back to it on PS5. But it has to come down, for me, between Last of Us Part 2 and Spiritfarer. Two vastly different games. I love Last of Us Part 2. I think Last of Us Part 2 is a phenomenal game. It's probably in my top 10 of greatest games I've ever played. But I think for me, I have to give it to Spiritfarer in the sense that Spiritfarer I went in not really knowing a whole lot about it. And it was a game that really it blew me away in the sense that I went into it with no expectations, hearing very little about it, and it ended up pulling me in for 40, 50 hours. The writing is incredible. It's spectacular in every sense. It is one of the most emotional games I've ever played. It's also one of the most beautiful. I think the soundtrack is easily one of the best I've ever heard. And I think the writing is simply terrific. Each spirit feels so unique and different, and they all have their own favorite foods that you can cook for them, and you can give them hugs, and it sounds cheesy, but it's so well done. And as you know, I love like emotional games like that have those ties, and it's just something I incredibly. And every time you take a spirit to the Everdoor, it's just a very somewhat heartbreaking type experience because it's like you're saying goodbye to a friend. And as someone who has experienced a lot of loss, not only this year but throughout my life, that's something that hit me on a very deep level. And that's why I think Spiritfarer has to be my game of the year of this year, because just for what it did for me personally, I can't think of any other game that came out last year that really matched it. As you know, I love Last of Us Part 2. Like in terms of combat and gameplay and just visuals, it's absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
But for me, Spiritfarer did the most for me.
Yeah.
Because even like visuals of Spiritfarer, I mean, beautiful looking game, and the music. The music's
really good.
The music is simply outstanding. It's probably in my top 5 favorite soundtracks of all time. And I'm talking some of the best soundtracks of all time, like Halo, Witcher 3.
I don't know. It's not Halo, but
Witcher 3 is
Ian, can you still hear that vibration? You said you kept hearing.
I think it was your phone vibrating. It wasn't mine.
Oh, gotcha. Hopefully you don't.
I've heard it a few times in our past videos. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Let me know if you still hear that.
But yeah, nonetheless, it has to be Spiritfarer for me, because Spiritfarer did so much for me. And, as you know, I lost my mom 5 years ago, so it definitely, I had that mindset. And there was even a spirit that reminded me of my mom that actually ends up getting dementia. So,
well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I think, when games can connect you on a personal level, and it's funny, like...
They can hold so much weight.
Yeah, and the games that I listed, I would probably say Last of Us is a better crafted game in the end, even more than Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy hit me in the feels because it brought me back to when I was fucking 8 years old playing Final Fantasy VII, sitting down and just amazed at 8 years old, and then getting to replay it so well done again really just it resonated with me. But let's see what some people say here. So we got one person saying, don't sleep on Streets of Rage 4. Honestly, I didn't even know Streets of Rage 4 came out. Chris said, Ghost of Tsushima not being higher is crazy. Ghost was my number 2. Oh man, you're gonna hate my review. Resident Evil 3 was kind of disappointing. I was hoping Nemesis would actually have some AI and stalk you around, but all the stuff was scripted, which is weird after Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 2. Last of Us 2 was amazing, but as soon as I finished, I was like, get this away from me. I didn't even want to think about it anymore. I understand that. Resident Evil 3, I thought it was pretty scripted, but fuck, man, those set pieces were insane. Like, I actually was scared for Jill all the time. Kind of disappointing that you're just getting to 100, though, since there were some good titles from that year that were missed, particularly Fall Guys, Sakura Wars, Bloodstained 2, and Crash 4 to name. Actually, Crash 4 was on here.
Also, Maneater was pretty good.
Hold on. Crash 4 was on here. I saw it.
Yeah, I think I saw it.
There it is. I didn't get to play Crash 4, so
I didn't play it either.
That's the only reason.
I haven't played Crash Bandicoot since fucking PlayStation 1.
Maneater. So, I played Maneater.
I did too.
I reviewed it, and it was something. It wasn't horrible. It's just
fun for about 2 hours.
Yeah, it is a 2 hour effect game for me.
Yeah.
Ori is number 4 for me. See, we got to play that shit. Yep, Final Fantasy VII is number 1.
Ori is
13 also is a good soundtrack. Yes, it does have an excellent soundtrack. I do want to mention that. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Aura was great. They did such a great job of keeping a balance between recurring. Yep, I agree.
Chris definitely plays Spiritfarer. I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah, Chris, you would enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I liked it too.
It's very much a time management game. So you're managing your crops. You're
if you like Animal Crossing, but not so big like that, but like that type of idea where
it's way fucking better than Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Bigger?
Better.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like it's time, like you're managing everything.
You're crafting stuff. You're crafting stuff to upgrade your boat, to build new facilities on your boat. You're managing your crops. You're cooking food for the spirits. You're talking to them. They each have their own side quests, and it's all ultimately leading to the goal of, taking them through the door. Also, I'd like to say,
I agree with that.
Spiritfarer's or Thunderlotus' rendition of Hades in that game is fucking awesome. Like, he's so fucking awesome in that game that I told you I want to get a tat of him.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. That is pretty cool.
Like, just the sections with Stella and Hades, I think, are some of the best of the game. Because what it is as I think there's like 12 or 13 spirits. As you're taking her through the game, you see Hades will actually come to you. Because what Stella is she is the new Spiritfarer. Because you're taking over Charon. Which, as you know, in Greek mythology, Charon is the deliverer of the dead to the other side. So Stella takes over for Charon. And she basically becomes, like, in a sense, Hades' new, pupil.
Yeah.
Kind of, but nonetheless, the
like
moments...
Harold.
Harold.
Like a Silver Surfer.
The moments that she has with Hades are terrific because in that realm that you meet Hades, you're actually discovering different bits of her story. And you're actually figuring out where she comes from, why she's here. And it kind of went where I expected, like the ending. I'm like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, but it's still sad.
Still fulfilling.
It's still sad that you figure out
what happened.
That she actually knows a lot of these spirits. Because while these spirits are all animals in her world, you actually come to find out that she probably knew some of these people, if not all of them. That they all connected with her life in a certain way.
That's pretty cool.
It gets deep. The story actually gets a lot deeper.
Well, I thought it was pretty good in the beginning. It's just not my indie games are really hard for me to play.
Yeah, and Atul is one of the best fucking characters in a video game ever. He's amazing.
Yeah. Who?
Atul. He's your frog. That's also like he was like an uncle to you, and every time you feed him, he go oh.
I don't know that.
He's like, I just love food. And he tap his belly.
Well, I agree with what he said. That Ian said about Ghost. The writing did feel very Hollywood, and I'll get to it more in my review. But Ghost was that game where I wanted to love it.
It was about halfway for me too.
Halfway. I think halfway is you dropped it halfway. I dropped it halfway. My friend Jimmy dropped it halfway. Ian dropped it halfway. It's a very much a game where if they shaved about half of it, it would have been a lot better.
Well, what did I tell you last night? If that skill tree was longer and if it didn't feel as bloated, it would have probably been a better game.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we're wrapping this up because we got a special segment after this. So this is the best games of 2020. So you picked Spirit Fair, and I picked
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7. So those are our games of the year for 2020. We're not going to get into 2021 because we're waiting for Halo. But
James, I have a great idea.
Well, I already said we have another segment, so they know we already thought of it. We're going to just real fast talk about our top 5 games of all time. And we're probably forgetting some because there's games that I can't remember right now.
Well, we both made our list in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but these are games that we all talked about between 2000 and 2020.
And each of these was a game of the year for us.
Yeah, and so this time you go first.
Why am I going first?
Because I want to end it.
Why?
Because I'm hot.
Sure. Why don't we do 1 and 1?
Okay, okay.
I think that'd be fun.
All right, you go first. I'll go next.
So my runner-up for my top 5 is definitely Uncharted 2. I think Uncharted 2 is easily...
I didn't do a runner-up.
That's fine.
So just say Uncharted 2, then just go to your next one.
I'll talk a little bit about Uncharted 2. I think Uncharted 2 is definitely one of the best games I've ever played, but I can't confidently put it in my top 5 because I feel like the other 5 mean more to me. You said this is my list. So, I love Uncharted 2. I love it. I told you I beat it in one sitting. I have a lot of respect for Uncharted 2. A lot of love for it. I think it is easily the best Uncharted game. But when I look at the other 5 games on my list, like they definitely did more for me. But I love Uncharted 2, and it's definitely my runner-up in terms of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Before you get into your list, he just wanted to know if we're ever going to talk about movies on his channel. We actually had a fun list that we're hoping to do in the future. We're going to break down Marvel movies and our favorite Marvel movie ranking, which should take only fucking 3 years. And then we're going to go on Rotten Tomato, and we're going to see what they ranked him in order of the highest to lowest and see if we agree.
And we thought about doing the shows, too, right?
And the shows, added the shows. And that. So, should be a lot of fun. I don't know when we'll get to that, probably early 2022.
We have a lot of series. We've talked about doing a Halo series.
Definitely doing Halo.
We just did Uncharted. We just did Assassin's Creed.
The Assassin's Creed. So I think we'll do some movie stuff, but mostly gaming. The reason why is because Robbie and I connected through gaming, and it's kind of our big thing that we both do. But anyway, you go.
So probably my 5th favorite game of all time is definitely Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14.
To make the distinction,
A Realm Reborn. Yeah. I didn't play that. You did, but I've heard absolutely awful things about it.
I almost didn't play Realm Reborn because it was so awful, the original Final Fantasy 14.
The reason Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn is 5th on my list is primarily from last year.
Show your tattoo?
Yeah.
Show it.
I will.
Let people see that shit sexy. Oh.
It is easily, without a doubt, the best MMO I've ever played. Like 100%. And I put so much time into WoW, and so did you. As well as a few others we did. But yeah, Final Fantasy 14 I connected on a level so deeply with last year just because, being home, stuck at home with COVID, being on unemployment for the first time in my life. To be home and to be able to still play it with you and
be connected to a world.
Yeah, like be connected absolutely to another world
and not die.
Time. Yeah, being stuck at home all the time. Like I don't think I left my house for like 2-3 months. We were ordering groceries. We were doing all of that. It has to be number 5 for me, and it is easily my favorite MMO of all time. And due to that, actually, when I came up here last year, I'm sure everyone's seen it, but This is the
Shut that shit! Subscribe and like.
This is actually the samurai symbol for the samurai class in Final Fantasy 14. So that was my main class that I played. You played Paladin. That's mistaken me.
I did. I played Paladin. I also played other classes. I played the Dark Knight.
You did play Dark Knight.
And I did play a little bit of Magician, or Black Magic, whatever the Black Magic.
Oh, Black Mage.
Black Mage. Really, just a phenomenal game, to be honest.
Easily the best.
It's in my. If I say overall games, it's definitely in my like top 20, or if not at least top 25. But MMOs still have the repetitiveness that it can't really hit my top 10. But
would you say it's the best MMO you've ever played?
Yeah, I probably would. World of Warcraft did a lot for me as a kid, and so did I really liked Guild Wars 2.
I think 14 is a much better combat system, though.
Yeah, 14's phenomenal. I will give it that.
And the story is better than World of Warcraft. What even is the fucking story in World of Warcraft, really?
It's just lore.
Yeah, it's just lore.
Okay, so you're picking for number 5, Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, Realm Reborn.
I'm going to pick Persona 4. Persona 4 is a Japanese RPG that really, really connected with me. It was at the very end of the PS2's life, and it was their swan song. It was very much like Last of Us was PS3's swan song. This was, to me, PS2's swan song. It hit all the right marks. The story was excellent. It had a very murder mystery feel. The stylish menus and combat were great. The characters always stuck with me. I absolutely loved Persona 4, and it is one of my favorite games of all time. Even I liked it a little bit more than 5, and I love 5. So, 4 is my number 5 game of all time.
And a great segue. My 4th favorite game of all time is Persona 5. So I recently played this. I think I played Persona 5 and Witcher 3 around the same time.
Yeah, you went back to back.
Yeah, I think I was playing them at the same time, or like with you, like a month apart or whatnot.
Yeah, you definitely.
Which is funny because they're 2 of the longest RPGs I've ever played.
And you said the same thing about each one when you first played them. You're like, I don't know if this is
one
for
of the
me.
greatest games.
And then 10 hours later, this game's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I knew you were gonna get into them.
For Persona 5 and Witcher 3, I was not stuck into them probably for the first 5 or 10 hours, and then I stuck with them, and they both became 2 of the greatest games I've ever played.
Yeah, I remember the first thing you said about Witcher. You're like, this horse combat.
I remember I asked you, I texted you, I'm like, is this combat supposed to suck?
Yeah. I was like,
and then 5 hours later, I'm like, this combat's fucking amazing.
It does take a bit to get used to. And Persona 5 takes forever to get started, but when it does.
Yeah, when Persona 5 does get started, it is... it's probably my favorite Japanese RPG I've ever played.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Just story-wise, characters, music... combat, absolutely, dude. When I did a hold up for the first time, that was fucking awesome.
So cool.
It was so fucking good. Like, the characters in that game are absolutely fantastic. The writing is spectacular. The music is outstanding.
The voice acting,
the art design is amazing. It's simply jaw dropping.
It's a great game. It's why it has another Royal Edition that came out only like 2 years later because it was that good.
Exactly. And like very much like Witcher 3 coming into this, I had no knowledge of Persona.
Yeah.
Zero knowledge. I've never played a Persona game before.
I think for a lot of people, because it's been such a long gap. There was no Persona in PS3. There was no in PS4 until the very end.
Yeah. So I came in having zero knowledge of Persona, and I left being like, this is fucking amazing. But yeah, I have so much love and reverence for Persona 5, so I debated putting it on my list, but I'm like, no, in the end, I'm like, no, I have to put it there just because... Like I think I will definitely go back and play it on PS4. I really want to see it because how much better it looks as well. I'm sorry on PS5, but yeah, Persona 5 is definitely my 4th favorite game of all time.
So I'm gonna say
my favorite Japanese RPG of all time.
Nah, I'm just joking. Uncharted 2 is my number 4, and the reason why Uncharted 2 is so high, even you said, wow, that's in your top 5, is because we were talking about like a game that really just gets you in from the go, and it's really hard. Some games have to take a while, like Persona.
Yep.
But Uncharted, I got about 2 weeks early before it came out. The reviews weren't even really running yet, and I put that game into my system. And the first 25 minutes, I was like, "This is going to be game of the year." People are going to say this is the game of the year, possibly one of the greatest games of this entire generation, and I still hold by that. I think it is one of the best.
Game of the year for 2009.
Yeah, and PS3 in general, it's one of the top games. Yeah. Uncharted 2, from the graphics, the fun story, excellent characters, gameplay was leaps and bounds better than 1.
I always liked the shooting in 1. I know a lot of people. The shooting in 1 felt
good.
heavy. Like it definitely. I think the shooting in 1 felt heavier than 2, so I actually liked the shooting in 1 a little bit more.
But 2 is better. The climbing's better. The
100%.
set pieces are fucking stunning.
Story too.
Story is better. Everything is better in 2 for me. So yeah, not much more to say than other than it is one of the greatest games of all time for me.
Yeah. My third favorite game of all time is Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect is... It might be my favorite series of all time. I can't say confidently for sure. But I had to put Mass Effect 2 here, even though I have not played it on the collection. Recently you did. You said it still holds up very well.
So good.
But I had to put it because what Mass Effect 2 did for me at that time was terrific.
Yeah.
It was very monumental whenever I first played it, and just the scale of it at that time. Like, it came out 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And just the scale of what you were doing was terrific. So
still.
Yeah, and I just got into I didn't get into Mass Effect 1 until 2008.
Yeah.
And then I finished it, I played all the DLC, and then I had to wait like a year to play Mass Effect 2. But yeah, like Mass Effect 2 has some of the best writing I've ever heard. Graphically at the time was a marvel. And it still has some of the best gameplay, I think it probably is the best gameplay of any Mass Effect game, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'll get into it.
Yeah.
But I agree. He said that the combat in Persona 5 falls into a great rhythm once you get used to it, and it really does.
Yeah, I definitely struggled with it a little bit in the beginning because I was trying to figure out.
It's punishing if you fuck up and use the wrong moves, and you fight enemies that you're weak against. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I definitely fucked up a few times, but yeah, Mass Effect 2 has to be a 3 for me. Just because it is easily my favorite Mass Effect, and Mass Effect's one of my favorite series of all time. So for that, I have to put it as number 3, because that to me is a 10 out of 10 perfect game from top to bottom. Music, gameplay, story, design, fidelity, everything. It was ahead of its time, and I adore it.
I agree. And my number 3 is The Last of Us. Last of Us kind of just hits the right notes in terms of giving you an emotional story and giving you characters that, in my opinion, are pretty much unforgettable. Like, even if you didn't really enjoy the gameplay or whatever, which I really did, but even if you didn't, like, Joel and Ellie are characters that are pretty huge. I'd say people remember them as much as Master Chief, Mario, like characters that are icons. But you're talking about 2 regular people, and that says a lot for me. I think that it had one of the greatest stories of all time in gaming, and I think the ending is one of the best, if not the best ending to a game ever. Yeah. And yeah, you could just play it and see what I mean. It has very, very high ratings for a reason, and it's because it's one of the best games ever created in terms of graphics at its time. And the gameplay was fun, but it was the story and the connection. There's very few games that I felt as connected as Last of Us.
Absolutely.
What's your number 2, boy?
My number 2 favorite game of all time. I was debating this, but I eventually had. I'm actually currently replaying it, in the midst of replaying it. I put 130 hours into it the first time, and I'm now replaying it on Series X.
Fortnite.
Yeah, it's Fortnite. Yeah, because you can beat Fortnite. Everyone knows that.
Fortnite, the greatest
you gotta beat the Fortnite.
Ever created.
It only takes about 3,000 hours to beat the Fortnite.
The Fortnite.
Yeah, the Fortnite.
The Facebook and the Fortnite.
Yes, Facebook is now part of Meta, and Fortnite is now part of Meta too. My second favorite game of all time most certainly has to be The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 is very much falls, like as I said, into the Persona realm of... I came into Witcher 3 having zero knowledge of The Witcher. I'd never played Witcher 1 or 2 because I've never really owned a great gaming PC. You did.
Yeah.
And I saw it was on PS Plus, or I saw it on sale. I'm like, is this a great game? And you're like, yeah, it's fantastic. And you were telling me about it. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I'm telling you, give it a shot. It's only $10 or whatever I paid for it on PS4. And I got into it. I was maybe a few hours in, didn't know anything about the story, characters, anything. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really sure about this. And you said, trust me, just stick with it.
Oh shit, someone thinks they know my number 1 and 2.
And, oh really?
I'd be surprised.
But 10 hours in, That was it.
Yeah.
The switch flipped, and I was immediately hooked, and I ended up playing Witcher 3. The base game, as well as Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. I probably put 135 hours into it.
I think with Witcher, it's like... It's just it's a rare game that comes out and works on consoles and PC. And that, I think, was a big thing for them. That's what got them the fame, because if it came out on PC, people would have loved it. But
it's one of the best-selling games of all time.
It wouldn't have been as big if it didn't come out on the consoles, too.
Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore Witcher 3. Like I said, I'm in the midst of replaying it right now. I'm having just a good time replaying it as whenever I first played it.
Yeah.
To me, it is top-down an amazing game. I don't want to say perfect, because it definitely still has some issues as far as just graphical issues and glitches and whatnot. It's still not incredibly refined like, say, a Naughty Dog game.
Well, it's also 50,000 times bigger than...
Exactly.
Did you see Chris's comment?
Yeah.
Number one. Damnation!
Yeah, Meta Knight.
What the fuck is Meta Knight?
Yeah, that's what Facebook's
Oh,
Meta is going to change the name of Fortnite to Meta Knight.
Meta Knight.
But yeah, it absolutely has to be Witcher 3. Because,
that's your number 2.
Yeah, that's my number 2, because I'm in the midst of replaying, as I said, and it's so fucking good. That music is absolutely incredible. As you know, on my drive up here yesterday, I listened to the entirety.
Twice.
Entirety?
Yeah, entirety. You got it right the second time.
I listened to the entirety of the Witcher 3 soundtrack. It's an hour and 56 minutes. There's 55 songs on it, but every single fucking song is amazing. And I love that soundtrack so much. And for everything from the story, the characters, the combat, the lore of it is just absolutely incredible. So for that, it has to be my number 2.
10 out of 10 for him. Let's give you a 10 out of 10 for the Witcher.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. Despite its issues and everything, I think it is a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
All right. So my number 10, I'm going to have to look at my list at this point. I know my 2 favorite games.
Me too.
Okay, so don't put it there. That's where the vibration comes.
My phone doesn't vibrate. It only vibrates when it's in my pants.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so my number 2 is... It starts with a 2. I mean, ends with a 2.
Yep.
Halo 2. So Halo 2 is a phenomenal game, in my opinion. Not for the single player, which the single player I replayed recently on Remastered, and it was really fun. Really much better than I remembered it. But the soundtrack in that game, the combat still holds up. Obviously, I just played it. And
the Anniversary Edition. Man.
Anniversary Edition
fucking beautiful.
Made me love the single player. Now, what I really want to focus, though, is me playing this as much younger, much more sexy. Actually, I'm sexier now, but much more innocent human being at that time. Playing Halo 2 for hours upon hours in the summer with my friend in doubles, and I must have put, I'd say, anywhere from 400 to 600 hours into Halo 2 online. It was so much online gameplay.
Probably about half of that.
It was just so good. Halo 2 redefined shooters online and consoles.
It was my first online game I ever played.
I mean, I played others before that, but nothing was as big as Halo 2. Halo 2 is... it's got to be one of those games that kind of changed my life for gaming and online. It pushed me into online gaming for a long time. So Halo 2, phenomenal experience online, and then the remaster just boosted it up for me even more. Halo 2, the amount of time I spent with Halo 2, it will always be with me. It's that type of game that I'll never forget. I have to put Halo 2 as my number 2.
I think that's absolutely fair. I told you I debated putting possibly Reach in my top 5, but I think I look at the 5 games on my list, and I just don't know if I can confidently put a Halo game
See
in
what
there.
Chris said?
Yeah.
He said it should have been 400 hours. It should have been a longer
I'm
soundtrack.
sure there's been a lot of people that have spent that much time on Witcher 3, because that game is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Like, especially with that DLC, it's fucking enormous.
He said Halo 2 was my life for many years. See? So I wasn't the only one.
No,
Halo 2
it was for me as well.
I think our age group...
Up until the 360.
I'd say our age group. Anyone that's right now about 26, 27 and older...
Unless you think Halo's garbage.
unless you think Halo's garbage. But I think if you're in that age group and older and you got into FPSs and had an Xbox, I think Halo 2 was very much part of your life. And
it was the staple, I think, of online multiplayer.
Yeah, for consoles.
For consoles,
100%.
Yeah, because I don't want to speak, I don't want to count out.
Yeah, because you had Counter-Strike, But yeah, no, Halo 2, phenomenal. Number 2.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Hit him with your best shot. You're number 1. Hit me with your best shot.
That D12 song.
That's a pretty good song.
Really
unreleased too.
I loved it. It wasn't released. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Chainsaws.
And Bizarre was actually pretty good on it.
Yeah, for once that fat fuck.
No, he lost a lot of weight, man.
Oh, he did lose a lot of weight. He's only like 500 pounds.
Skinny Bizarre is much better than Fat Bizarre.
Oh, without a doubt. All right. Thank you, Bizarre, if you're watching this.
I'm sure he is. In stores now. Skinny Bizarre. My favorite game of all time, if you watched our game of the year 2013, you're vibrating. It's not my phone. It was you.
Just in case.
Yeah, sure.
All right, go. Come on. Game of the year. Game of the fucking year.
No, this isn't game of the year. This is game of my life.
Game of your life. Here we go.
My favorite game of all time.
I forgot what it was.
Most certainly has to be. No, you haven't.
No, I did. I forgot. I was trying to think of.
My favorite game of all time absolutely has to be The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
When I first played The Last of Us, I had just started experiencing... actually, I had just started encountering some mental health issues in my life. And I started... they started becoming more prevalent in myself. And also, I guess just to touch on a little bit, because, personal issues I've had over the last few years... I had a substance abuse issue for probably the better part of 4 or 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
Due to that, James and I actually had a hiatus where we didn't speak for a while, primarily because of me. I was in a very dark place for, a lot of years. And I actually played The Last of Us during that time. And you would think that it would be a terrible idea to play that in my life at that time. But for what it did for me, and just replaying it too, being in a better headspace, it still holds up to me as my favorite game of all time, and that is strictly because of the relationship between Joel and Ellie. That is probably the most meaningful relationship I've seen in any form of media. It definitely ranks up there with me between like a Jesse Pinkman and Walter White. Dysfunctional as all hell, But when it comes,
but that's a great part of the writing.
But when it comes to the writing and the love between those two characters, it is absolutely incredible.
It's realistic.
I still think, it feels incredibly authentic. Yeah. Like one of the scenes I'll never forget is when David is basically talking about threatening to rape Ellie.
Yeah, that fucking.
And she basically flips him over, and she gets his machete, and she just starts fucking going to town, like destroying him, brutalizing him.
Cut off the sound.
Yeah, and Joel runs in, he screams for her, and like she just starts crying, and then he's just like, "Oh, baby girl," and he just grabs her. Like that, like a scene alone, phenomenal. Like it's something I'll never forget.
Chills.
Yeah, like absolute fucking chill. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But there's so many moments, and even too, like whenever he wakes up in the house, when Ellie goes out to look for food for him and medicine, and he's interrogating that guy.
One of the best scenes. Not one of the best scenes in gaming. One of the fucking best scenes ever.
He fucking sits down beside him, and he's like, "Tell me where she is," and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." He just takes that knife and...
Yeah. The ending to that scene where he's like, "I'm telling the truth," man. He's like, "Oh, I believe you." Yeah. And then bam! I was like, fuck.
It's amazing. Yeah. Like I cannot say enough about The Last of Us, and from top down to gameplay to visuals,
and the design. Online. Ian just said, "I remember playing with us."
Yep.
The online surprisingly really.
It was shockingly good. I did not even
bring it back, Sony. Give me fucking Last of Us 2 gameplay with the.
They haven't said anything. Come on, Last of Us Part 2 online in months. They said they're making it, but I guess it's not. I thought they were going to show it at E3 this year. Yeah, I honestly thought they would, but
give us that shit, man.
That's disappointing, but nonetheless, Last of Us has to be my favorite game of all time, just for what it did for me. I enjoyed the living hell out of it. I've probably played that story at least 10 times, and I still enjoy it every single time.
I beat it 4 times. My wife beat it. I watched her playing it. She loves it. Yeah, Last of Us is one of those rare games that I think
It's a jewel. It's an absolute diamond.
It's not only a swan song. It defined a generation. Really, it defined the PlayStation 3 as a
it
top
defined
dog.
a generation, and it created a new franchise for Sony in the sense that I think like you said, like the multiplayer was
And one of the
shockingly
best-selling
incredible.
games all the time.
It is one of the best-selling games of all time. Yeah. So for that, there has been no other game that I've played, and I've been a gamer for over 20 years now, that I can think of that has meant the most for me and resonated with me the most as much as The Last of Us.
I think that's fair, because as The Last of Us was my number 3.
Yep.
It also hit me in those ways because the game itself was amazing, and then the online was so good. I think that was like one of the last games that me and you played together before the abuse and all that started really ramping up for you.
It started around that time, so it was 2013, 2014.
And I have such fond memories of not only the game, but also playing with Robbie and my friend Jimmy and Ian.
And
it was just...
Ian was fucking good at it, too.
Yeah.
That motherfucker kicked ass.
We all were, like, very different gameplay styles, so we're like, we're all just going to separate, and good luck. And I'm like, why don't we stick together? But, no, it was a great game. So my number 1 is probably, you can guess it. I mean, it's on my body. Mass Effect 2.
On your body. It's everywhere in your body.
Everywhere. Touch me, Shepard.
You should watch Ashley and Female Shepherd's Futanari video. That's also very good.
You're promoting Futanari on my channel. No. I really love Mass Effect 2. It's probably the game I replayed most of my life. I just played the remaster and beat it, and that was officially the 10th time I've beaten this game.
The 10th?
The 10th.
Jesus, I beat it like twice.
You know what it is?
Shit.
When it first came out, I got it a week early, beat it in 2 days. And then I played it again right away and did all the worst choices and beat it. Then I did a playthrough for it on my channel and beat it. And then I played it again and again and again. And I just kept playing it again. I kept playing in between games. It just kept...
Paragon playthrough.
Yeah, I played all the way...
Partial playthrough. Yeah.
And I beat it again for Mass Effect 3. And then... I just played it again. So I played it so many times. It's just like in my head, all the characters. I knew where to go on the ship in the remaster. I was like, this bitch is downstairs. It's like it was almost like coming back home when I played the remaster. It was that great. The shockingly amazing opening that just right away,
terrific.
You're in. Your ship gets attacked. You fucking die. You get reborn. It all feels natural. The gunplay was 10 times better than 1, especially replaying remastered 1 and 2. Wow. The story was excellent. The ending was hyped me the fuck up for 3. And I enjoyed 3 a lot still, but 2 holds a special place in my heart. And some of the greatest characters ever written in media. I'm going to say it.
Yeah. 100%.
Where Last of Us might have had like 2 characters that worked really well, Mass Effect had an ensemble cast that worked extremely well. And I even got the tattoo on me for Paragon. I think that the choices were great. I mean, some of it feels a little outdated.
They were impactful. Because
it's very
has
bad
a system.
good.
Yeah, it's very much a system that if you make this choice, this will happen.
Yeah.
You make this choice, this will happen.
But
at the time,
there were still choices where you can be an asshole, but then you do something good that changes the gameplay, like save that entire race of cockroaches and shit. Things like that I really enjoy. So, yeah, Mass Effect 2, I think it took me by surprise, because I liked Mass Effect 1, but I was not ready to love Mass Effect 2 as much as I did. Yeah. And it is the game I replayed the most in my life. It is the game that stuck with me. It's the only gaming tattoo I have on me. I really loved it. And I bought the remaster because of it. Literally, I want to play 1 and 3, but I really want to play 2 again.
Yeah, I think that was a big reason I bought it too, because I did want to see what they did to 1, but primarily because of 2.
Yeah, and someone said...
go back up a little bit.
Well, we saw this. Fantastic. Mass Effect 1 is better than 2, but both fucking great. I just play again, and Lord, I want to play it again. I will say that I enjoyed it.
I'm interested to know why story-wise, okay. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, I don't agree with this.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I understand the RPG elements in 1, why people liked it so much. 1 feels more traditional RPG.
It feels less like a shooter.
Yeah, 2 is much more shooter, action-based with RPG elements. But that worked for me, because I think the character writing in 2 is a lot better than 1.
Well, the combat just felt much smoother in 2.
Yeah, the combat feels smoother. The environments are more fun to go through. And for 2, I understand why people like 1 because it's a slower build. It gives more lore to the world of Mass Effect. And I think without 1, 2 wouldn't be as fun. Yeah. But I had that slow build. I had that lore in 1. I had a main enemy. In 2, I wanted to get to know my people. I wanted to save the universe. And I wanted to fuck shit up. And 2 gave me all of those things. And it gave you choices that were a lot harder to pick into for me of who to save, who not to save, when to tell that asshole go fuck himself, things like that. But yeah, I just really enjoyed 2 more. But I understand why people enjoyed 1 more. I even understand why people enjoy 3 more, because 3 is like taking those elements of 1 and 2 and making a blockbuster movie.
And then the endings.
And then the endings, yeah.
The endings was probably the most disappointing thing with Mass Effect 3.
But yeah, so those are our best games of all time. Now, my list will probably always change, obviously.
Yeah, it can definitely change any time. It's as of this recording.
Yeah, and I think these games that I mentioned, I think that they all hold up. I can play almost all these games again, without a doubt, in my opinion. But yeah.
What's interesting is Mass Effect 2 was my 3rd favorite game. Last of Us was your favorite game.
That is weird.
Last was my first favorite game. Mass Effect 2 was your first favorite game.
There we go. We switched it and switched the rude.
So Last of Us, my favorite game of all time. Mass Effect 2, your favorite game of all time.
Yeah, I would have to say. I mean, again, it could change.
Incredible games that came out within the span of 3 years of each other.
Yeah, and I think they're some of the 2 highest rated games from critics and people alike.
Very well received by everyone.
Yeah. So, I guess that's it. I'm really glad that you guys joined us. I think the live stream was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I didn't expect us to get as many comments and people tuning in.
Thank you guys for coming. I know it's a Friday, so maybe we will do that Halo video.
We're both off for like the next 4 days or so. Yeah, I would love to do it.
And
it's much more fun in person.
Well, yeah. Okay, so last comment. I loved Mass Effect's lore, so the revelation in Mass Effect 1 just made it more memorable for me, but again, I love...
Yeah, I mean, I can understand
regarding the Reapers, yes.
Yeah, like the Reapers in one story were terrific. I think that the stuff with the Reapers in 1 and Saren, I thought was meaningful to me, and just in terms of the way that was told. Yeah. And not just that, I think 1's music is a little bit different than 2's. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. Like, I think there's definitely maybe a little bit more lore in 1 than 2, because by the time you get to 2, it's kind of like you're supposed to know who these characters are. Yeah. And not just that, they're introducing new ones. Like, I don't remember Martin Sheen's character. Mirage Man? Memento Man? Mr. Memento? Something like that.
Mr. Memento.
Mr. Memento.
Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos fresh. Mentos fresh. Mentos
I didn't say Mr. Mentos. I said Mr. Memento.
Mentos fresh and go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Chris, you're fucking insane. I think you're fucking with us, but I also think you really do like Rogue Warrior. I think that's your favorite game.
I honestly would not be surprised if he really thinks
I think he has it like on his stand. It's like in gold. Yeah. And he looks at it, he goes, Rogue.
Chris is a living troll. So.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope we can do this again. Maybe we'll do the live Halo ranking video. Yeah. How you guys like that? You want to join us? So. Join us, Titty Papas. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I'm going to stop streaming now.
I just love food. Oh!